Welcome to the Log Time Podcast. The winter 2020 season has kicked down our doors, overwhelmed us with sheer force of anime, and made us ask for more. In short, it's got the goods. But hey, there's so much dang anime this season, so come chat with us and see what we recommend checking out this season. You will not be disappointed.
I love winter 2021. It's great.
Here's the thing. I always feel like going into the winter season that I can't possibly watch as much as I watched in the fall season. And then I blink and it's the third or fourth week? I don't know. We're definitely in this season at this point.
Oh, we're in it.
And I look at my list and I'm like, I'm watching 21 shows.
Yeah.
I need help. Someone, please help me.
You need to go to like AA, Anime Anonymous.
Anime Anonymous?
Yeah.
I don't know, man. It's just like, I set up a schedule and I have a calendar and a list of like when shit's airing, and it helps me stay on top of stuff.
That's crazy.
And it's just like, it's not that crazy though. I mean, like, the most I have in a given day is, I think there's like 5 shows that I'm watching that are airing on Thursdays, and that's like my heaviest day of the week. But all things considered, that's maybe like 2 hours of my time. I don't know, man. Anime is budgetable. Anime is life. You know?
Oh my gosh.
You just gotta let it in.
I mean, I guess.
I was watching even more a week or so ago, and then I let myself drop stuff.
I mean,
it could be so much worse.
I don't think you should look at a large volume and be like, that could be so much worse. But whatever, you do you. I'm not gonna criticize.
No, you know what? You know what? You're right. That's not exactly the healthiest way to approach a hobby. You're not wrong.
Yeah, that's well, that's why we're called the Backloggers.
Yeah, no fucking kidding.
Backlogs are not healthy.
No, they're not, and that's why I watch 20-some shows a season, so I can be proactive about preventing a backlog for myself.
Oh my god. I used to say that too, and then I hated myself, so hopefully you're not going down that same road.
No, you hated yourself because you watched every single premiere on a given season.
Okay, that was kind of fun. Don't criticize me for that.
I know that. I've done it before. There is a certain kind of thrill in doing that. But it is also
a thrill of hating yourself, but yeah.
It is a level of masochism that is completely unsustainable and not something that I would really recommend to anyone.
I recommend people try it once.
Sure, okay. Let's go with that. And if you're going to do that, this is a great season to do it on.
Yeah.
Because as you said, I love winter 2021. This is good shit. I'm eating good this season, man.
I mean, you don't even have to watch a lot to be eating good.
You don't.
You can get like a simple 3 for $10 meal at Applebee's or something with just like watching a couple different shows. That was a terrible analogy.
Okay, Matt. So what's really burgeoning out of your 3 for $10 Applebee's deal right now? Like, what's your first go-to app anime that you're watching right now?
Well, if you're going for like an appetizer, like the Otherside Picnic is pretty good. The picnic part, I guess, is related to food as well.
Yeah. You get a nice little buffet there, a nice smattering of shit. Especially if the smattering of stuff is a surprising amount of otherworldly, like almost eldritch horror shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's that's definitely a show. And the girls got guns. You can't deny that. Yeah.
I was really astonished by, I think, everything from Otherside Picnic. Because I saw, this is one of the shows that I saw like a preview for before it started airing. And my only reaction was, what the actual fuck? And I think that was enough to really propel me into watching it. Because, you know, the girls with guns in a weird, creepy otherworld is a great premise to sell me on. But I was really pleased that it had staying power beyond that. How much have you watched of it at this
I'm
point?
caught up.
Okay,
I've watched
cool.
4 eps.
Good shit, me too. I think the coolest thing about this show is, I mean, there's a lot of very cool things about it. It's got a really great score to it. I think the characters are genuinely pretty interesting. It's cool to see like an Isekai sort of show where we're dealing with like adults going into it as opposed to high schoolers being reincarnated. Again, there's not anything like inherently wrong with that, but it's nice to have a little bit of variety in it.
A little bit of diversity, yeah.
Yeah, but the funnest thing to me is that is how much it borrows on, like, so a lot of isekai sort of stuff or a lot of otherworld kind of series will draw on like fantasy parallels and things of that nature.
Mm-hmm.
But Otherside Picnic really takes all of its weirdness from essentially like Japanese creepypasta shit, like early internet, like weird creepy story forum shit. And I've been watching this, and there have been times where I'm like, oh my god, I've heard of that thing. Like, I've heard of the lady in the white dress, and I've heard that fucking, you know, internet urban legend thing. And I'm like, that's so fucking cool. That's fascinating.
It's like if somebody watched that one arc of Inspector and said, hey, let's make an anime out of this.
Yes, I was just thinking of that. Honestly, like I was just thinking of the Steel Lady Nanami or whatever. Yeah, Nanase. That's
yeah.
But oh my god, it's so fucking cool, you know? It was one of the first shows I watched this season, and I saw it, and, you know, I was just like, this is going to be a really good season. Like,
yeah.
like I saw it, and it just felt like it really set the tone for the good shit I could expect going forward.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, sometimes, like, I don't know if this happens to you, but I definitely, like, when you look at all the anime airing in a season, and then you see that first preview, it's like, you just know. Like, you can have this feeling that, oh, yes, the season is going to be good. I can feel it now in my blood, you know?
Yeah, it gives
like,
you this sense of momentum.
Yeah. It's like, okay, this is the starting point. Let's just keep going. And boy, did it go.
It sure fucking did.
Yeah. I mean, I know you were talking about it kind of being like a weird isekai thing. I didn't even really okay, it's called Otherside Picnic, but I didn't really think of it as like an isekai thing. It's because, like, I think calling it that is kind of like a misnomer almost, because
it's a little reductive. It's the thing. Isekai is just so fucking prevalent anymore that if it features them going to another world or another dimension or something, like, I'm already primed to say isekai, and frankly, it makes me mad.
Yeah.
So it's definitely not an isekai thing.
Does it have the word isekai in the title, by the way? I don't even know if it does in
Japanese. It says urasekai.
Oh, okay. So that's a little bit different. Okay.
Yeah.
So, okay. That's what I wanted to know. I'm just wondering, like, if there was like some kind of connection there. Okay.
Similar etymology, but not the same thing.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's not the same thing, but yeah, it's got some of the, like, it's barely got some of the same elements, I would say. It's not like any of the isekais that people trash.
No, it's not. I mean, this is really just like a parallel universe sort of thing, not like I've been reincarnated into a different world sort of thing.
It kind of reminds me a little bit of almost like a Deno Coil thing, but almost not.
Ooh, no, but that's a good comparison, just because of how
like
reliant it is on. Yeah. Because so much of it is technology based, because they go there and it's like you gotta watch out for glitches and all sorts of other things, and then all the weird supernatural shit is again based on like internet based urban legends and such. So
Yeah, it's a very good concept.
It is.
I really like the blend of just all the elements that are in that. Characters are good, the world's good, everything's just solid. Like, it's just a solid show. Like,
Mm-hmm.
like I go into every episode, and I'm not super impressed every single time, but I go into it knowing this episode's going to be good, I'm going to be satisfied, and I'm going to like it at the end of the day.
Yeah, that's the thing. It doesn't rock my world, but it is consistent.
Yeah, it's very consistent on its delivery. You know what you're getting.
Yeah,
And
I've yet to come out of an episode thinking, man, I wish I hadn't watched that.
yeah, it's not a very surprise heavy show. It's just very, you know, I don't know. It just I go into it knowing what I'm gonna get, and then I get it, and then I'm happy, and that's it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a very like kind of popcorn anime for me. You know,
Yeah.
It's like, you know, I go in and I'm like, I'm going to see girls with guns do freaky supernatural stuff in a surreal parallel universe. And
Mhm.
good times ahead.
Yeah, and maybe just a little bit of angst.
Yeah.
I actually like that about this season. There's a lot of shows that have just a little bit of angst.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Yeah,
and
there
and
are.
I don't know what it is about this season, but like lately that's what I've been craving. So this is giving me like everything I wanted. So
You've had a real outlet for this, huh?
yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know.
okay.
It's just like a sudden like phase for me.
I bet you've been really liking Wonder Egg Priority then.
Oh yes.
Yeah, I guess if we're talking about girls with weapons go to a parallel universe and fight weird supernatural shit with some angst to it, there's no better segue into that, I think, than Wonder Egg Priority.
Yeah, that's basically what that entire show is.
Oh my god.
But it's like somebody took Flip Flappers and said, this needs more angst, and then just injected, not ejected.
Yeah.
But
Well, I feel like I should be ejected out of it at some point, because I'm like, oh my, stop, please stop. Oh
like,
god.
it's one of those shows that, like, the first episode started, and I'm like, okay, kind of heavy, but that's fine. And then,
Yeah.
like, it's just like, just when you don't think it doesn't get any worse, it just gets heavier and heavier and heavier. And I'm like, okay, let's slow down a little bit. Except I'm not saying that. It needs to keep going.
This is another one of those shows where, like, I saw the premise and the idea of this young shut-in high schooler acquires this thing called a Wonder Egg from a weird magical gotcha machine, and she uses it to fight for her friends or something like that. I was like, that sounds... Huh. But then watching it is just... It's a hell of a lead, and then getting into it and seeing how it looks, I'm like, oh my god, is this a KyoAni show? Because goddamn if it doesn't look like one.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's what I was gonna talk about. Like, the animation for this show is like bonkers. Like,
Yeah.
number one, like this, like I literally looked at it and yeah, I thought about you. I was like, what the heck? Did like a KyoAni staff member like start like working on this? It looks phenomenal. Like,
Yeah.
like I know a lot of people are kind of comparing it to Flip Flappers, but I feel like Flip Flappers is not even on the same level as this. Like, Flip
No.
Flappers was really impressive and cool and pretty and colorful. This is like way different. Like just the basics of the animation are just, they look so much different. The fluidity, the actual animation just looks way different than Flip Flappers, or really most other anime out there. So
yeah, Flip Flappers was really impressive in that it did such a cool job of consistently making these really like psychedelic, bizarre dreamscape sort of things, and it was just all so completely out there, just these weird otherworldly kind of spaces. And it's kind of like you say, Wonder Egg Priority has elements of that, but it's best in that it really is able to, kind of like you said, hammer out those basics and make everything just look so fucking fluid and gorgeous. And it's not like they go to really weird shit. I mean, you know, some of the locations they've been to have been a field of flowers, a high school gymnasium, a lighthouse, but it manages to bring such a weird, vibrant life to all of those things, which is especially kind of hilarious and impressive given the fact that they're made so vibrant and lively because these girls are trying to be fucking murdered by like metaphysical manifestations of, you know, adults and other folks who turn a blind eye to the awful shit that happens to children in the world.
Yeah. Well, it's not even that. Sometimes it's even worse than that. It's just like, oh, sometimes, you know, there's adults that actually are performing those acts.
Yeah.
Or enabling those acts, I should say.
Yeah.
And I'm just
I was just thinking on the base level of the no-CMs, but like the actual like the boss characters who are like quote unquote, but God, yeah, man.
Yeah. That's, I mean, the whole show is just like I didn't expect it to go the places it did either. Like I was like, okay, why is everyone talking about this egg show? That's all I knew about it. Was like, everyone's talking about this egg show. What the heck is this egg show all about? And
Tuesday's Egg Day. That's all I knew.
And then I was like, okay, well, this is some kind of joke. And then I'm like, I guess I'll watch it. I already was gonna watch it anyway, but I was like, I'll definitely watch it. And then I was not expecting anything that I got.
No,
and
Jesus
it was
Christ,
a lot.
No.
Like, it was so, like, episode 3, episode 3 was not what I expected at all either. Like,
no. And it's like you say, you know, to say the show is heavy is, you know, being quite direct. But the thing is, I don't feel like I've watched a show like Wonder Egg Priority in a very long time. Because a lot of shows deal with heavy themes and things of that nature. But there's something about Wonder Egg Priority and how it manages to intersect all of these issues of, you know, the isolation of you know, of kids and of the bullying that happens in, again, primarily Japanese high schools, and how that isolation and alienation can lead to such gnarly things, but also it is dealing with so many different intersecting levels of trauma caused by, again, so many different intersecting, like, reasons and causes, and it never feels cheap at any point. Like, none of it feels like, I felt that one coming, and, you know, that felt really unearned. It's just they've really weaved not just like heavy themes into it, but characters and motivations and storylines that make you really believe this stuff, and it's so astonishing.
And I was thinking about this while watching it. It feels like one of the most real shows that I've seen in a while. And
yes,
and it's really fun. It's kind of funny saying that because the world sometimes there's a lot going on. There's a lot of, you know, a lot of animation, a lot of, you know, things that are not realistic,
quote unquote real.
Yeah, but it, like, the emotions in the show are definitely real. Like, I know I was saying it was heavy, but that doesn't mean it's like edgy or anything. Like, it means like it. What I mean by that is that it's just, there's a lot of emotions, and if I would almost like to think that, like, if you have lived a life, any life, you have probably been there or in one of those characters' heads or felt something like that.
Yeah,
you know,
you've at least been walking down the path heading towards them at some point. Yeah,
it's definitely like the kind of show that there's a lot of swirling emotions, and they're not all positive, and I appreciate that. God. And I think, and I'm not saying that there's a problem with like positive anime that want to give you like feel good emotions, because Yeah, I understand. Like, Yuru Camp's this season. Everyone loves Yuru Camp. I love Yuru Camp.
Mm-hmm.
It's a feel-good show. But I love shows. I think shows like this can really, like Wonder Egg Priority, can really bring out, like, the talent in all areas. Because people can get invested in either creating it or watching it. Like, it can just, it just drives the emotion behind it. And it's I mean, it's obviously that the product is very powerful, and it's obvious that the creators have invested a lot of that power into it themselves.
Yeah, I would absolutely agree. It's one of those shows that every week comes around and I'm like, oh god, oh yes, please give me. I need it now.
Yeah,
I need it.
Mm-hmm.
Because like that, like, I mean, the third episode, like the most recent episode, fucking knocked me on my ass.
Yeah.
And I am consistently astonished by how incredibly effectively this show is able to make me feel for each and every character. And I really did not expect that, because again, I went into episode 3 and the character they debut is like, I was immediately like, oh, get the fuck away from me.
Oh, yeah. See, I did the same thing. I was like, oh my gosh, no, this is going to ruin the whole show, isn't it?
And then by like the 3/4 mark, I was like, oh no, I understand her on a pretty gnarly level at this point, and I understand why she is the way that she is, and oh god, please put on the brakes, I'm begging you.
Yeah, like that, like, by the time you get halfway into the episode, it's like, I kind of was like, oh, and I think this is when I finally came to a realization in this show, because a lot of people had been calling the show, well, not a lot of people, but I've seen some comments, people calling the show problematic. And I'm like, okay, this, just because a show has elements that you don't like doesn't make it problematic, number one.
Yeah, just because it is addressing issues of trauma and ways in which people process and deal with that does not make it inherently problematic. There are plenty of series that present issues like this and treat them with respect, and I would argue that Wonder Egg Priority is absolutely one of those series.
Mm-hmm.
I don't feel like any of the very real issues our protagonists deal with are cheapened in any way, or are made to feel, again, unearned, or are made to feel like they're just tacked on for something. Like, they feel like they have purpose to them.
Yeah, and I feel like almost by trying to disregard those elements, you're almost going against what the show is saying, which you need to process those emotions and deal with them. But
yeah, and they need to be looked at and addressed. They don't need people to like look the other way and act as if they don't exist.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. God, I'm about to fight someone over this.
Yeah, I saw that comment on Twitter. I don't remember who it was, but I was like, okay, I haven't watched this show, but I think y'all are getting a little out of hand with the word problematic, and you can't just use it as the new buzzword. I really do think that this show, like, if you don't, I mean, look, we all have things in ourselves, I think, that we don't like looking back on.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and I think that's what this show, I mean, even especially episode 3, that's what, you know, Rika was experiencing. She obviously was not really proud of what she did.
No, certainly not. But the fact of the matter is, like, so much of her personality was trying to project that outward in such a way that she wouldn't have to engage with it. And by the time you get to the realization that she is so desperately trying to not engage with it because she hates that part of herself, it fucking shatters you.
Yeah. It's
rough.
And it's a rough show, like, honestly, like, yeah. I'm really scared to see what this show is going to do in the later episodes.
I really am too, because I mean, if we're at this point, in like the first quarter of the show. Like, fuck me, man. I don't know if I'm ready for that.
Like this, I mean, a lot of people, I feel like I'm not ready for it either, because I mean, it basically is going to probably pick apart all the individual aspects of what these characters are feeling on the inside, and it's just like, and it's not easy stuff to address. So
no, it's really not. And
I'm like, I want to see more, but I'm like also like my it's like my brain says yes, but I don't, like, my instinct says no. Like,
yeah,
please push it away.
Keep me the fuck away from it.
But oh yeah, Wonder Egg, definitely a ride.
That's a kind way to put it.
Yeah. You know what else was a ride that I wasn't expecting to be a ride? ReZero, even though I guess I should have expected it. ReZero.
You know, okay, so like, I know that's a batshit insane thing to say, but I exactly know what you mean, because like, I've kind of always expected ReZero to be a bit of a ride, but I think I got a little accustomed to it. You know, it was like an expectation that it was going to be some wild shit, and I never really expected it to perhaps get as gnarly or as good as it does. I think out of the 4 episodes from part 2 of season 2 that have aired this season, I have literally screamed in 2 of them.
Oh my god!
For various reasons.
Yeah, like I've screamed a lot.
Yeah, like last week's episode especially, I lost my fucking mind. I was losing my shit on my couch.
On what part?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Yeah,
the whole goddamn thing.
Like, that's sad that I have to ask what part, because like there are so many parts that's just like, oh my god, stop. I assume you're talking about the whole
inside the temple.
No, yeah, that part. Yeah, that part for sure.
Ooh.
But like, who was expecting that?
Not me. Definitely not me.
Definitely not me either.
Fucking-lutely not me.
I was like, whoa, this show can't do this. And then it did, and I was like, okay, well, I guess that's happening now. Yeah, there's the whole, like, if you start back at episode 1, where fucking Otto the Merchant decides to become a badass, like, or that's episode 2 maybe, but it's one of those episodes. Who even thought that guy had it in him?
We had a whole fucking half an episode dedicated to this motherfucker, and I was like, wow, holy shit, dog, what the fuck you did? You can, kind of like you said, you can do that? This show can do that?
Yeah, that was like,
Is
I'll
this
take
allowed?
Things I really didn't need to know for 300, Alex. But it was really cool, and I was like, things I didn't expect. I was just like, okay, I guess every character in this show has trauma, and I should have known that from the beginning, but
yeah,
didn't expect it with, you know, a character that back in season 1 I would have flagged as a very side character.
Yeah, so, no kidding, right?
Now he's an integral part of the story, but ReZero is good at doing that. They always have been doing really good at that. And have you watched this week's episode? Because
Holy
this week's episode,
shit.
I screamed.
Uh-huh, yep, same here, buddy.
And
my god.
And I was just like, oh my god. Oh my god. And then next week's episode, I know, is just going to be more screaming. Like,
I know.
There's no way that I'm not going to scream, because episode 5 is going to completely shatter the entire realm of things that I know.
It's going to break my fucking brain, dude. Like, I just, so here's the thing. Like, part 1 of season 2 was very good. It was super fucking good. It was great to have ReZero back. I enjoyed every moment of it.
Mm-hmm.
But it feels like it was all just playing prelude to the unbridled batshit insanity of this second part. And I'm just like, I really appreciate that we had part 1 of season 2 like a season or 2 ago, but holy fucking shit, it's like none of the rest of the series can really hold much of a candle to what's happening right now, because oh my god, this series can do all of this?
Yeah, like, it's definitely one of those series now that I'm like, okay, so, yeah, but like you said, part one of season 2, like, that was a lot of backstory. There was a lot of, like, seeds being sown. There was a lot of, preparation. And I was just, I mean, don't get me wrong, though. There was still some really crazy stuff that happened.
Oh yeah, there was some gnarly shit.
You got to see all the witches. You got to see like 100 different timelines. We had the whole thing with Rosewall that was just completely crazy.
That blew my fucking brain.
And then there was the whole, like, Beatrice died in one of the episodes, like in one of those alternate timelines. Is that even still part of this timeline? I don't even know at this point. I don't think so.
No. She's definitely still around at this point.
Yeah.
Because the Beatrice dying one was one of the most exceptionally gnarly offshoots.
Yeah.
Of the past season.
Yeah, that one was pretty bad. I'd say bad, but it was good.
Yeah.
And then... oh my god, like, there was just so much shit that happened. And then, yeah, like, there was that whole, like, the whole Echidna, like, going after Subaru thing near the end. Like, that was crazy. Like, there was a lot of crazy shit, but somehow this season has just, like, escalated it. Like, there's you had the fight scenes, you had this whole plan that Subaru put into action. You got all this stuff that's apparently about to happen. Yeah, it's nuts.
Just the incredible thing about ReZero is, like, ReZero is really, really good when it is doing cool stuff with the return from death mechanic. It is exceptionally good when it's doing that. But ReZero is absolutely at its best when that doesn't even really matter, and they're just taking time for the character arc and development in this show, because wow, this has some of the most fleshed out characters of any series I've seen in recent memory. It does such an incredible job of taking these characters that already seem pretty well established and then fleshing them out in an even deeper, more meaningful way as time goes, and I'm just astonished by it.
Yeah.
Because, like, a lot of the previous part of season 2 was, here's a lot of return by death stuff, and like you said, it did a lot of seed sowing, and it gave us a lot of foundation for the essentially the payoff half of the season we're getting now. Not that, again, the previous half wasn't any degree of payoff, but, like, again, goddamn, sorry, it kind of can't really hold a candle, because wow, this shit's so good.
Yeah.
This shit's so good.
It's like if you look at character development, like, I would say that Subaru developed the most in that first part of the second season, because there was a lot of that return by death mechanic. So it was based around him learning things and, developing and, like, learning, like, learning different, what's the word? Like,
different facets of himself, and learning to accept different parts of himself, and also learning to really engage with those around him.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing that he learned, was that he just needed to rely on others more, because that was the whole, like, the pinnacle of the last part of the season.
Otto beating the shit out of him and saying, maybe rely on your friends, dumbass.
Yeah, and I'm glad that they put that part in the second season too, because I was just like, yeah, because that's a lesson that needed to be learned.
Yeah, it's like, let's hammer this back home.
Yeah, and then, of course, with the recent episode, like, oh my god, I can't even, like, it's just gonna be so terrible. I'm so scared.
Yeah, I'm super scared.
I have a lot of questions.
Yeah, me too. Like, Because I was watching this episode yesterday, and I was watching with Morgan, and the more it went on, we were just kind of looking at each other, and it was like, what? And more stuff kept happening, and we're like, wait, what though? What? What do you mean? What? Hold on, is this what? And it was just this consistent building of just like, I kind of can't believe what we're watching here right now. I can't believe this is happening.
Yep.
And I just, it's nuts. But also, I'm so fucking stoked that we're finally getting, like, Emilia has, like, almost an entire episode to herself, and we're probably going to get an entire second episode all just to herself. And, like, I know that's kind of a low bar in that, you know, she's a main character. She should probably have some centric stuff, but part of ReZero is so, you know, part of what makes ReZero is how central Subaru's experience is to all of it.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just very cool to see the focus put to others for a bit.
Yeah, I'm definitely okay with it. Like, I don't have any problems with how they're structuring it because it makes sense. Like,
yeah,
like everything that they're doing makes sense. I don't have any complaints that like they didn't showcase Emilia enough or whatever.
Yeah,
but I'm glad that she's getting some space because this is going to be about her for a little bit, and it's obviously that she needs to process some things because it looks like I'm about to need to process some things too. So I totally get that.
Yeah, amen to that.
So yeah. Oh my god, I know next episode's just gonna be a hellscape. So
yeah, I'm trying not to think about it.
I'm trying not to think about it too. Whew.
Yeah,
that's. Oh man.
I'm just glad that it is still so good.
It's still impressing.
Still so
up
good.
there. Still up there for me. Like,
yeah.
I'm just like, oh man, this is the ReZero I'm here for.
As long as we're talking about sequel shit, you mind if I hop on some stuff real quick?
Go for it. Do it.
The final season of Attack on Titan started airing in like December.
Mm-hmm.
And there have been points where it's like I have been really enjoying stuff from this season.
Mm-hmm.
But there's been times when I've been watching really good shit and like the episode ends and I'm like, oh, that was great. And I stop and I sit there for a few seconds and I'm like, God, I wish it was Sunday. I want the new episode of Titan. Because, oh my fucking God, dude. Oh, it's so good. It's so good. It's so unbelievably good. Since, like, they moved studios from WIT to Mappa. And, like, Mappa's kind of at a point where they're, like, at godhood right now. And Mappa was the right season, or the right studio to give Titan to for this. Oh my God, it looks fucking gorgeous. I don't really have anything to say about it. Like, if you like Titan, you have zero reason to not be watching this because this is some of the best that Titan has literally ever been. It's so fucking good. I could really just gush about it forever, but it would kind of be stupid. Basically, it's real fucking good. If you have ever thought I want to catch up on that or I should do that, this would be a good time to do so. But yeah, it's real fucking great. In terms of sequel seasons right now, the one that I'm kind of losing my shit the most over, like at this current point in time, is actually season 2 of The Promised Neverland, because we finally got a season 2 of that. Yeah. So here's the thing. I read the entirety of the manga. I read it as it finished. I was, like most everyone else, pretty lukewarm about the ending.
As most people are about most manga endings. So that
it was not great. I was watching the most recent episode of this that came out today, and I noticed that we kind of got to a very key part of a particular story arc, and as I was watching it, I was watching and things were happening, and I was like, I don't remember this happening in the manga. And I first thought, like, okay,
Oh.
maybe it's just like a different, like, little elaboration. But then certain other things kept happening in the episode, and I was like, okay, no, I definitely don't remember this happening. This isn't me just misremembering. This definitely didn't happen. And as the episode continued to unfold, it dawned on me that the anime was going in a completely different direction from the manga.
Oh, like an anime original route. Branch off.
And
Nice.
so I was like, oh God, what? And so I started looking into this, and the anime's creator, she was not terribly stoked about how the series ended, because she was pretty rushed in getting the series out, and it didn't exactly end how they wanted it to.
I think that's how a lot of mangas go.
Yeah, and so they are currently involved with the production of the current anime season. And so it seems like they are taking a stark directional change of the trajectory that the manga was taking. And I was excited to watch the Promised Neverland season 2 because, you know, I think the anime gives the series a whole lot of life. Mm-hmm. And I was very interested to see where it went. But now that I know that it's doing its own thing at this point, I am fucking foaming at the mouth.
Oh my god. And
just so unbelievably excited at the possibilities of this. And it comes at a really wild time because, like, I just recently finished up the Final Fantasy VII Remake. And that was a whole experience for me of, you know, playing through the game and being like, oh yeah, this is familiar. And then saying, oh, this is definitely a different direction that it's taking. Mm-hmm. And then getting about to the end of it and being like, holy fucking shit, what is happening here? This is not the thing I remember. And so I'm fresh off of that kind of experience, and for it to happen right again in a completely different thing that I was also very invested in, I'm like, oh my fucking god, I'm gonna lose my shit. So yeah, I'm not gonna gush any more about it, but like, if you like The Promised Neverland, and if you read the manga and you weren't super stoked about the ending, hop on the fucking anime and follow up with this, because I don't know where it's going, but I'm here for it, and I think it could be something really rad. So, and that's it for Zach's sequel corner.
Let me go into Matt's sequel corner in a second. I want to talk about Quintessential Quintuplets because it's actually kind of similar.
Hell fucking yeah, dude. I haven't even seen any of it, so fill me in.
So basically, they got a new studio for season 2. And a new
okay.
writer on the series comp, I guess. So there's a completely new guy doing it. And apparently, a lot of people were also not pleased with how the manga ended. And apparently, they're rewriting the anime to have a different ending. So that's going to be very interesting.
Oh my god, you're kidding me.
Yeah, so that's really funny. That you were talking about that with the Promised Neverland, and I'm like, oh, interesting. Looks like that's the trend of manga. Now, granted, that is true with most manga, that a lot of people never like any manga endings. I've never seen a manga ending that everyone was like, oh my god, about. Like,
yeah, I mean, sitting here and thinking about it, you ain't wrong.
Soma, like, everyone was like, ugh, Soma was, ugh. They didn't like the ending of that.
Yeah. So. Now, to be fair, at least with Soma, they got to get some extra chapters out after the end, and it was pretty satisfying at that point. But, like, you never get to the end of it and be like, that was great. I ate good at that end.
It always takes extra chapters, which probably has to say more about the manga industry than it does about manga in general.
Yeah, I would agree.
Like, or any particular manga, I should say.
A lot of series coming out of Shonen Jump.
Yes, that's very accurate. I wonder how Nisekoi ended, by the way. I don't even remember.
That scares me to think about that, honestly.
There's like 30-some volumes, probably? Probably in the 40s? I don't even know.
It makes me think about it, not to get even more sidetracked, but like I was following up with We Never Learn in Shonen Jump, and we got to a pretty definitive ending where he definitely ended up with one of the girls, and then it was like X route ending, next chapter another girl route, and I'm like, so you're just gonna do an ending for every fucking girl in the series then, huh? Got it.
I mean, that's kind of... See, I kind of feel lukewarm about that too.
I do too, because it's so non-committal.
Because I'm like, okay, like, I get it. You want everyone to, like, this feels like what they call that something.
It's like you're trying to go through a visual novel and get to the true ending.
Yeah.
Like, you gotta go through all the side routes and have to do every other one of them to get to, like, the core true ending, which works in something like a visual novel, but with a manga, it's just, like, almost patronizing.
Yeah, it almost. So, I guess when you put it that way, I like that in some visual novels. I think it depends on how you structure the visual novel. I'm not going to go into a whole tangent about visual novels, but
yeah, we don't need to get to the visual novel corner in a seasonal anime podcast.
Yeah, someday maybe.
Yeah,
but not here.
Devil on the G string, get it?
Okay. But I don't know. I just think, like, for a manga, like, I'm not saying commit, but like you gotta commit to at least one ending at the end, and then write side stories later. Like, you can't just, like, write them all at the end. That's not how they work.
We're not saying commit, but we're saying commit.
Yeah, like, I mean, you don't have to, like, commit in a terrible way.
Sure, yeah. Like, don't just end it conclusively for the sake of ending it conclusively. But
yeah.
So anyway, quintuplets.
Yeah. So, So the new season is great. The new animation, by the way, like, the animation is, like, the best thing about the show, because it was a little bit sloppy, like, in the first season, because I don't know what studio they got to do it, but the characters started going into jiggly heaven territory. And I mean, like, the Shirobako show that started melting. There was some very bad animation that was happening.
Okay, that's not what I figured by that phrasing.
No, I realize it's kind of like one of those rom-com harem shows, so maybe you got the wrong impression, which is why I explained it.
Yeah. Thank you for that. We're more talking about, like, jelly melty.
Yeah, jelly melty.
Like, jiggle jibbles.
Yeah. But yeah, so the animation is like, it's like when you saw Origaru season 1 versus season 2. It's like a huge glow up, and it, like, looks amazing.
They don't look like fish anymore.
They don't look like fish anymore. Actually, who's the studio for this? I actually have to find this now, because that would be... It's Beebery. Okay, I've never heard of them. Anyway.
Never heard of them either. Anyway.
Sounds like a blueberry. Not related to quintuplets. But no, I'm really excited to see what they're going to do with this ending, because unfortunately I did have this ending spoiled for me, and I'm not happy about it. And yes, I'm a little bit mad just because the person I like didn't win. I'm going to go in. I'm just going to be honest about that. So I'm allowed to be bitter.
You're absolutely allowed to be bitter if your best girl didn't win.
Yeah.
We've all been very bitter about, respective best girls not winning, like Horimiya and such.
Oh my God.
I'm still mad.
Oh man,
I think I have a right.
People are still mad about Horimiya, so it's I think it's
you're allowed to be mad about your fave not winning.
Yeah, it's okay. It's allowed. I'll allow it. But it's good. I watched the first episode today. It was very good. It's the same quintuplets, but it looks better, and I can't ask for anything more. And yeah, so that's it.
Honestly, sometimes that's all you need.
Yeah. So good decisions were being made somewhere. So thank you.
Yeah. In terms of more of the same, like, and I guess as long as we're in sequel territory, Laid Back Camp Season 2, Yuru Camp 2. Oh, baby. Oh, I tell you what.
Ooh.
Oh, that was I found myself watching last week's episode, and I was watching it on the couch, and it was only halfway into the episode that I realized I had like my mouth like literally open in this really dopey toothy grin, watching it the whole time. And I was like, oh man, it's so good to have this back. Like, I would trade in just about anything for more of this. Like, it just this shit hits in a way that nothing else hits. Like, I was literally like crying a little bit when I was watching, you know, there was a scene where Rin and Nadeshiko and one of Nadeshiko's friends is at this observatory, and they're overlooking this coastal town, and just looking at all the lights of the city and the boats and shit. And like, I realized I had tears going down my face, and I'm like, oh my fucking god, what is wrong with me?
That's not even the first time I've heard of that episode doing that to people. And I was like, what's going on in Yuru Camp? What the heck?
Like, nothing has hit me as hard as Yuru Camp does for whatever reason, and I'm really always going to appreciate it for that. I don't have a whole lot to say about it. It's just, I liked the first season of Yuru Camp, and I was ecstatic to have more of it, and I will always be ecstatic to have more of it, because it's just as gorgeous. It is just as much a breath of fresh air to watch, and I don't know, man. Again, Yuru Camp just hits different. It's unlike anything I've ever seen.
It's like that meme. It just hits different, man.
It does though.
Yeah, I mean, I like Yuru Camp, but I know you and Kyle both get really into Yuru Camp, so I'm like, okay, I'm not that into it, but you guys go for it.
Yeah, no, and I respect that. You know, I realize that, you know, I'm sitting down and fucking a blue in over this, and that's like, are you okay? You should maybe talk to someone kind of territory. Like, different stroke for different folks. I know not everyone's going to enjoy it that much. Like, it's on a objective level pretty fucking good. On a me level, it's like, I need some time to myself. Good.
Yeah. Well, we all have shows like that.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I guess if you want to go hear what Zach and Kyle said, you can go watch whatever podcast that was, or both podcasts where they talk about it for about an hour in total. So
I am trying my damnedest to be as restrained as possible right now. I have learned.
Feel free, if you have anything new to add, please add it.
There is nothing new to add. It's just more Yuru Camp. There's nothing more to say. If you liked it, come on in, because it's the fucking Promised Land.
Nice. But it's not the Promised Neverland. Don't confuse them two.
Correct, yeah. Big difference there. Very big difference. They both eat in those two different shows, but you're not going to like what they eat in one show. So.
Yeah. Wow. That was a interesting joke. Okay. Moving on. Anything else in the sequel corner?
No, I think I'm actually finally good with sequels now. The only thing that could even remotely be considered a sequel is Scar on the Praeter, but it's not actually a sequel. It's just, I say sequel because anything by Studio Gohands, I can't divorce it from the rest of their portfolio, so I just assume like it's part of the larger Handsiverse.
Handsiverse?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I hope that all the Gohan shows are not in the same universe.
Yeah. I went ahead and brought it up, so I'm just going to talk very briefly about Scar on the Praeter. I'm not going to go too deep into this, because I've got a post coming out about it, probably, maybe before this episode goes up, or maybe slightly after. I don't know.
Anyway,
Who knows?
check it out.
I'll have something up. Yeah. I'll give you a brief preview. I went into this show expecting the worst, because it's a Studio Gohands show, and the trailer gave me like some serious fucking vertigo, not unlike Wise or Handshakers. And the show definitely still does that, and it definitely still has this color gradient filter that looks like someone puked a mermaid all over it, with weird hues of blue and purple and like aquamarine and shit.
But that's why.
But
we
the
like
bottom
Gohans,
line,
right?
It's awful. It's really bad looking sometimes. But the bottom line, and all I'm going to leave you is with the bottom line, I don't hate it as much as I thought I was going to. And in some ways, I'm scared to say that I kind of like it. And that I'm going to leave you with that.
Wow. That's amazing.
Yeah. I don't like the show by any stretch of the imagination. But it's not as horrible as I thought it was going to be.
It's not as visceral as Wise was, apparently, at least.
It's a low bar to clear.
It's a very low bar. But...
yeah. It's a very low bar to clear, and yet it would not be in a stretch for me to say that I am tortured by this. So yeah, look for that post coming out.
One day.
Or that may already be
We
out.
should definitely like hang out and just watch all the Gohan shows and just like get drunk.
I will die.
I mean,
I will die, but honestly, like that's okay. You know, I can go out on my own terms.
Yeah, because I think that would be worth it. And we also probably get really
studio
sick, but...
go hands to hell whenever I want.
That's very interesting.
That's one way to put it. Can we talk? Let's talk about something else.
Okay, yeah, let's talk about something else.
What has been scratching your fancy that hasn't been a sequel this season?
I actually really like Horimiya. Okay, all right. So, like full disclosure, I watched Horimiya like today, like the whole thing or all 3 episodes or whatever.
It is addictive.
It's okay. So, I think this show is fascinating to me because this has got like the weirdest format I've ever seen for a show, but it works and I love it. It's just so good. Also, Cloverworks, another Cloverworks show. It's beautiful.
Cloverworks
beautiful.
Doesn't miss. They do not fucking miss.
Y'all are killing it over there. But please don't hurt yourselves trying to kill it. So, just be careful. But I love it. It's so beautiful. It is gorgeous. It is. I love the show. I love all the characters. I love everything about it. I'm gonna cry. It
is like, bar none, the best high school romance drama series I've seen in years. And I know that's saying a lot, considering there's only 3 fucking episodes out. But I don't feel like I'm exaggerating when I say that.
No, I'm about to almost agree with you. Like, I'm gonna pin this right now and say that this show is probably an underrated show of the season. Like, I haven't seen a whole lot of discussion about it, but it's good.
It may be an underrated show of the season. I am, hilariously enough, looking at it on AnyList right now, just for funsies.
Mm-hmm.
And it is currently the 74th highest rated series of all time on this site right now.
Oh.
And it's probably recency bias from the, like... It's probably got a lower amount of folks rating it, but that's still a pretty
kind of impressive.
Wildly high score.
It's higher than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah. Because it's just there's so much about this show that is just like you said, the show's fucking gorgeous. I mean, that is the entry point here. This show looks so good. Cloverworks is on it right now, but beyond all of that, you have such incredible character dynamics, and in a genre of anime that feels so oversaturated with characters that
don't feel unique.
That don't feel unique, and these characters that feel completely dysfunctional just because of like misunderstandings and shit.
Mm-hmm.
Horimiya instead has these characters that feel very, very real, and they feel like how characters
actually feel
would actually behave in situations like this. And it's delightful and also absolutely like existentially terrifying.
Yeah.
Because we have made an astonishing amount of progress in terms of character development and also romantic development in the span of 3 episodes. And this is a 13 episode series, or season rather, and I'm just like, I don't know where this is going, and that scares the ever-living fuck out of me.
Yeah, because, I mean, it could go any direction it wants to right now. And,
yes, it could.
And honestly, I don't really know what I expected out of this when I first watched it, but it was definitely not what I got. I didn't expect what I got. Because it's good. And, yeah, like, I've already been torn to pieces a couple times, so...
Dude,
that's a good sign, usually.
Oh.
I feel like I'm kind of a crybaby when it comes to these shows, because I feel like I say every season, like, this show made me cry, but no,
No, me too, though.
Like, this show is just so good. I love all the characters. I don't want any of them to get hurt, but God. Okay, actually, I take that back. I want one character to get hurt.
I want Pink Twintails to get hurt.
Yeah.
I want her to get hit by a bus.
And this is coming from someone that is... I'm not going to say I'm a Pink Twintails lover, but I definitely don't dislike them.
Pink Twintails lover.
But I want to shove her through a window.
You've got a type, man.
Like, it's just... I do not like her. She is the worst human being. I don't even think she's done anything that's that bad, but I absolutely hate people like that. And
I've known people like her, and it
oh my God.
She is again, when I say that characters in this show behave very true to life, that extends, unfortunately, to the people who also do not behave like civilized human beings.
Yeah.
And ooh, if we're talking about shit that makes my blood boil, oh my God. Yeah, this show is so good at getting emotional responses out of me of varying kinds.
Yeah. I was definitely getting very upset during that whole, like, the student council paper thing. Like,
fuck that.
Oh my gosh, I was about to fucking lose it.
I was too, and then the resolution of it also had me, again, basically screaming on my couch.
Yeah.
And oh my God, it's a roller. We've said shows are roller coasters on this podcast.
Yeah, we say it a lot.
But Horimiya is a roller coaster. This is a, like, you go to King's Island and you ride, like, Top Thrill Drag Racer or Diamondback or some shit, and it knocks your fucking shit out of you.
Yeah.
I think Top Thrill Dragsters may be actually a different theme park. But anyway,
I don't think anybody's going to know what King's Island is watching this podcast. Or maybe they will. Yeah, I don't know.
Who knows? Whatever. Anyway, doesn't matter. Cedar Point is from Cedar Point.
Okay.
Anyway.
It's an Ohio park. Whatever.
Who fucking cares? Whatever.
But...
It's good. It's really good. Horimiya is so fucking good.
Oh my God. I wish I could just, like, vocalize all my emotions about that show. Because, like... Oh my God. Yeah, like, as I said, the student council paper thing, I didn't like, the resolution of it was, like you said, it was like, it made me scream on a different level, because everyone was just like, oh. Okay. And everyone was just okay with it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, it was, it's okay if Pink Twintails does it. Of course.
Of course it is.
Of course it's okay.
Ooh.
And I was like, oh my God. And then when what's his name?
Miyamura.
Yeah. And when he was just like, yeah, I just wanted to headbutt the student council president because he pissed me off. And I'd be like, yes, that's valid.
I love how much of a deep down like mean streak he has, because he's such a sweet dude, but he will also fucking lay someone out, and I love that for him, and I love that for me getting to watch it.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
That guy's a bro. I'm pretty convinced. Like, that guy's not a bad dude.
Also, speaking of bro, I love how. So I mean, like, I don't even really want to call this a spoiler because it gets addressed in like the second fucking episode. But there's a love triangle, if you want to even call it that, where where purple hair boy Ishikawa has a real strong crush on Hori, and he asks Miyamura like, "Hey, you got a thing for Hori? Because if not, you mind if I ask her out?" And he's like, "Nah, go ahead, dude, whatever." And he comes and Ishikawa gets, gets turned down, and then eventually comes to realize that Hori does have a thing for Miyamura, and that doesn't like turn into some huge dramatic thing. It doesn't ruin their friendship. They're still able to be really cool and chill with each other. Like, they just scrap it out a little bit, and even then that's kind of a misunderstanding, and it's just like, oh shit, dude, I'm sorry. Like, it's so, again, refreshing to see major issues be handled with an iota of emotional maturity, and for it to not be something that's like, oh god, this is going to span 3 episodes with a really unsatisfying resolution.
Yeah, and when you say misunderstanding, I kind of want to clarify a little bit. Like, when we say misunderstanding, we don't mean like typical rom-com misunderstanding. It's like a literal like,
oh, I didn't get that. That's not information I had.
Yeah.
Or I thought you meant something else, and it's
vocalized
solved
immediately and resolved.
Yes, it is. And it's a breath of fresh air. Like, and again, I feel like I also say that with a relative degree of frequency, but again, it's just like, I really am just thrilled when series like this kind of break away from the mold.
Yeah, this series has a good sense of timing, I think.
Oh my god, yeah, it does.
It both comedic and with its more dramatic moments.
Yeah, and I think part of that is that the original Horimiya was like a web comic. It wasn't like a serialized manga, and I think by not being, again, a serialized manga, it had a lot more freedom to do what it wanted with its story, and it really shows in how it approaches the subject matter with its own very distinct way of telling it.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Like, I really like Wonder Egg Priority, but I also really like this show. So I'm like, I don't want to just pick one. But this show is like my jam. Like, this is like, I'm here right now. Like, the whole time I was going through shows watching it, I'm like, man, I need to watch Horimiya. I need to do it. And by the way, Funimation's website denied me twice on watching it. So
no.
I was like getting super angry because I went to their website the first time and I don't know, it was down or something. And then I went to it again to watch it, and then the website was just completely broken for like 2 hours. And it was like,
give me the fucking show.
Like, it was all like displaying in pure HTML, and it was just garbage.
Oh my god.
And I was like, okay, no, I can't take this. I need to watch this. And I was just getting so pent up about it.
Dude, I know. I'm losing my shit. I'm like, I have to wait until Saturday to get another episode of this. I have like 2 more days to go. I'm gonna scream. I'm about to bust. I need more.
Yeah. Like
it's bad.
Yeah, this is like, I need this show. Like,
yeah.
Like, it is, I feel like it's just so much on brand for me. I just need it. Like, like, they need to give me the show. Like, the whole thing.
Just give Matt the whole thing. Give him early access.
Please. I'll pay money. Just do it.
Oh my god.
Oh man. But man. Yeah, that's a good show too.
Yeah,
Man.
it absolutely is.
Oh man, there's so many good shows.
Dude, I fucking know it.
And to know I only saw a fraction of them is crazy to think about.
Yeah.
Like, I was gonna have like this whole thing about bottom tier Tomozaki-kun, and like after like some of the other shit now, I'm just like, oh, it's not like it's okay.
Yeah.
Like that's how I feel about it.
Yeah, I like it well enough. I only watched one episode, and I think the initial premise is very fun. I think the idea of, okay, loser, let's bond over video games, let's gamify your life, and make you a reasonable member of society. Like, I think that's a kind of interesting concept.
Mm-hmm.
But I know what you mean, because there's just so much, like, premium shit out this season that it's just like I'm watching it and I'm like, but I could be watching X other thing right now.
Yeah. That's kind of how I feel too. Like, I've watched all the episodes at this point, which I would say it gets better than the first episode, because I was kind of lukewarm after the first. So, but everyone says that it eventually, like, it actually ramps up like pretty decently, and I can kind of see it like already. So, because it's apparently a pretty popular. I think it's a manga. I want to say it's a
that
manga.
Would make sense.
Might be a light novel. I don't really know. I don't know, but
yeah. Anyway.
Either way, it doesn't really matter, because it's pretty good. Like, I would say that in a normal season, this would probably be a pretty good show. Like, it's just that it has like 8 other shows it's got to compete with, and
right,
that are actually just all like off the charts. So it's just kind of almost unfair,
isn't it though?
Yeah.
Like, it's fucking nuts, man. I mean, like, in terms of shit that is just absolutely fucking off the wall good, I wasn't expecting to be as just over the moon about this show, but Sk8 the Infinity, the fucking like downhill skateboarding shit, is some of the hottest shit I've seen in a very long time. So
it's an actual skating anime. It's not like Ikeburo Skate Park or Westgate Park, which I kept thinking was Skate Park from last season.
No, it is an actual like skateboarding anime. It's about like, you know, this wild underground quote unquote illegal like skateboarding thing that takes place in like an abandoned mine and like factory shit. The best way I can describe it is like, think Initial D but with skateboarding.
Oh my god.
Now, like, if the premise doesn't hook you enough, then, and I don't want this to go into like a stupid like fucking staff dive, because I know that like there's a lot of folks out there that are like, who fucking cares? Who gives a shit?
I love staff dives, but I know that's just me, so.
Yeah, but like, so the director, Hideko Usumi, is the director of Banana Fish and of Free, and did key animation for a large amount of K-On! And Haruhi Suzumiya was an episode director and key animator for a good bit of Hyoka.
Is he like an ex-KyoAni guy? Or
yeah,
girl?
for you know, Hyoka, for Nichijou, did a lot of shit for Clanad and Lucky Star and
this is
a bunch of other shit.
Okay. I didn't realize it was a Bone show. That they kind of get some top tier animators too. So.
Yeah, the music director also did the music for like Princess Principal and like Aka 13 and Classroom of the Elite.
And that soundtrack's pretty good. So I'm not gonna that.
And even beyond that, like the series comp guy has worked on like Code Geass shit and like did the script for most of Devilman Crybaby. It was a series comp for Princess Principal.
So they got a good staff.
Yeah,
they're
it's
kind of loaded.
Astonishingly good staff. Like it's a fucking skateboarding anime. It has no reason to be as goddamn stacked as it is. But man, it's good. It's one of the most like adrenaline pumping like anime series I've watched in ages. And so like the thing is, when I say that that it's like Initial D but skateboarding, I say that not as like a goof. Like, I'm literally watching Initial D right now. Like, I'm watching the first season of Initial D, like, as this current season is airing.
My God.
And there's literal direct cinematic parallels between shit that happens, and, like, there's actual, like, cuts that I can see from that first season of Initial D that are completely mirrored in Sk8, and I'm like, I'm losing my shit. Like
that's amazing.
Yeah, there's this one part where this one character, Langa, he's a snowboarder from Canada that moves to Japan, and our main boy Reki like takes him under his wing and is like, hey, you want to fucking learn skateboarding? And Langa does this thing where he like moves his board to the inside of like this ditch, and it should like knock him over, but he's got like almost like a grind going on, and because he's at a certain angle with the wheels, it drags him in faster. And there's a thing exactly like that in Initial D, and like I had just watched that in Initial D like 2 days beforehand, and again, this is a theme, I literally fucking screamed like, that's so fucking cool, oh my god. Like, I stood up off my couch, and oh my god. Again, this show has conceptually no reason and no right to be as good as it is, but this is easily in like my top 5 of the season.
Oh my god.
Again, this is another one of those shows that I'm fucking foaming at the mouth for another episode of. Like, this is up there for me with like, I need this as bad as I need like Horimiya and the new episode of Titan and shit. Like, it's absurd. If you haven't,
oh my god,
yeah, you need to at least give yourself like the first episode just to see what this is all about.
Okay.
Oh
yeah,
man,
you sold me. Okay, I'm gonna have to try to watch this because
if you get the opportunity to give it a shot.
Yeah.
Oh my god. The only other thing that I really want to highlight is Heaven's design team.
Ooh.
And basically, like, it's a slice of life comedy sort of thing, but the basic idea is, you know, God has made the heavens and the earth and light and, you know, water and the land and shit, and then he got the animals and was like, this is too much work, I'm going to outsource it. So there's a whole design team that he's been contracting to make animals, and
that explains a few things.
Yeah, and so the whole series is just, there's this new angel boy that's like, you know, a business kind of intermediary between God and the design team. And the whole goof of the show, the whole bit is just the design team comes up with these wild ideas for different animals. Like, God put out this request for like, I want an animal that's cute but not cute.
Oh my god.
And it ended up being, yes, he is the one that requested it. And so it ended up like turning out to be the koala. Like, they designed this thing and they were talking about like, okay, we're going to make this animal that is kind of cute, but it only eats poisonous things, and it can literally only eat poison, and it has an awful scream, and its children eats its own shit. And I'm just sitting there like, what the actual living fuck? And it's like, check it out. It's koalas. And I'm like, what the fuck do you mean it's koalas? And they have these interspersed things throughout the show where it's like, they'll go to like a little like commercial break cutaway thing, and they'll talk about like, okay, so let's actually talk a little bit about this animal, and they'll show like pictures of the actual animal and explain a little bit about the physiology. And sure enough, like, fucking koalas, like, eucalyptus leaves are fucking poisonous, but, like, they adapted to eat it because, like, there's no competition for it. So it's like, okay, cool, you just eat poison because you're fucking psychos. Got it.
Nice.
And their children eat literal shit so they can get, like, stomach bacteria to help them process the literal fucking poison. And there are events and things that I learn about animals through this show that absolutely fucking horrify me. And if nothing else, I think that's a good reason to watch this show, because it will fucking horrify you to learn some of these things about the animals that live on this goddamn marble that we're on. It's fucking great. It has incredible comedic timing. It looks quite good. I don't know who Asahi Production is, the studio behind it, but it looks good. It's fun. It's a goofy little thing. It's not like a must-watch, but I really enjoy it.
That sounds really crazy.
It's a lot of fun.
It's probably entertaining for a good 20 minutes.
Yeah, it absolutely is.
I can believe it. That's very interesting.
Yeah. There's a lot of other shit that I've watched this season, because, again, I'm unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on how you look at it, watching a lot of stuff. There are other shows this season of varying quality.
X-Arm.
I'm barely hanging on. I watched the first episode, and I feel like, watching trash is kind of my brand, so I feel like I have to give it at least one more episode, but I'm scared.
Everyone has their own little trash pool that they feel like they have to watch.
Yeah, I fucking hate it. I want to die. I'm a Spider, So What is a surprisingly fun isekai. An actual isekai, not like I'm just calling it an isekai. It is very fun. I'm really enjoying it. It's also not a must-watch. It's also a 2-core. So if you're interested, it might benefit you to wait a bit so you have some, like, to binge through a bit.
I like to backlog 2 cores because I never seem to make it. So.
Yeah, no, I always end up dropping off at some point.
Yeah.
Like, there's also a ice skating anime called Skate Leading Stars, which is about team figure skating, directed by the literal creator of Code Geass, which is fucking insanity.
That's crazy to think about.
But it's fun. It's pretty good.
They still doing work?
Yeah, clearly.
Wow.
I think, if I'm recalling correctly, one of the primary, like, writers and creators for Gurren Lagann has been making a show called Back Arrow, which is, it looks like a mid-2000s anime, and it's not...
Oh, yeah. Wow.
Not... Yeah, it's kind of rough, but it's literally by, again, the original creator of Gurren Lagann, and the series comped and script for Kill la Kill, and Promare, and a bunch of other shit. It's almost like a
sub-Trigger studio? Is that what this is?
It's not by Trigger, but
I know it's not by Trigger, but it's the Studio Vone. Is it like a sub-studio Trigger? Like, is it like some kind of staff amalgamation for people that just does like a side project thing, or...
I sincerely doubt it, because if it was, I feel like it would look and feel a little better than it does.
Oh, okay.
But also, it has a theme song by Lisa somehow.
That's random. Okay.
Like, it's pulling a weird amount of influence, and it's like, it's fine. And if I hadn't known that it was being directed, again, by Goro Taniguchi, and was written and created by the guy that made Gurren Lagann, I really wouldn't still be watching it. But it's one of those things where it's like, I'm so fascinated by this in, like, almost a science project kind of way. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You're just interested, like, how does this work with this staff sort of thing?
This is just such a weird season, because there's so much good shit, and then there's also some pretty bad shit that I just finally allowed myself to just not even try watching. And then there's also stuff that's like, I am watching this for reasons I'm not really sure of.
Okay.
But overall, I am thrilled with how the winter 2021 season's going so far.
Yeah, like I'm pretty proud of what's going on. Like
Yeah.
I'm here for all of this. I wish I
Yeah.
would have like watched Sales at Work season 1, then I could have watched both of
Man.
those.
Yeah,
Like,
me too. I've been kicking myself over that one.
yeah, because apparently that's those are both apparently going really well. So
Yeah. They're apparently extraordinarily good. But
Yep. So you got any comments about the triple Isekai Showdown? That nobody likes any of them.
okay, so the triple isekais are
Like the hidden dungeon only I can enter. Suppose a kid from the last dungeon Moonies moved to a starter town and redo of healer. It's 3 I'm talking about.
and that's not even talking about the other high profile isekai that's airing either. The one that looks fucking gorgeous, the like 30-some-year-old that's reincarnated as a literal infant.
Wait, what? Which one's that one?
Oh, fuck me. Hold on a minute. It's
Oh no, I haven't watched any of these, so I just thought that one was one of those 3.
No, it's unfortunately not one of those 3.
It's a completely different one.
It's a completely different one.
No.
It's
Musho.
Jobless Reincarnation or something like that.
Yeah, that one. Oh god, there's 4 of them.
Yeah,
No.
yeah. I have done myself a favor and have watched none of them, and I feel Matt, I feel so good.
I haven't watched any of them either, even though I definitely marked all of them as watching an episode of one of them each, or I was going to, but then I decided maybe I don't hate myself this week. So,
like, I feel like just for a small amount of masochism, I should at least watch the first episode of Redo of Healer. But at the same time, I'm just like there is a part of me that is reflexively like, don't do it.
It's the lowest rated of all of them.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Ooh, yuck. Yep.
That sounds bad. And that's
it's
the one I particularly have heard bad things about. So,
man, it's lower than Last Dungeon Boonies.
Yeah, and I haven't heard good things about it either.
Wow. That's incredible. How the fuck do you do that? Like, I haven't even heard anything about Last Dungeon Boonies, and it's still better than that.
I don't know.
Wow. Oh, man,
the world of Isekai is scary, and I'm so glad that maybe we're at a point where we're just like, hey, maybe we don't hate ourselves, and no one's gonna watch any of these.
Yeah, you know what? I think I'm good to just not. I think I will just stay
because
away.
You know that with the way light novels go, like there's going to be a worse trend that comes after Isekai.
What could possibly be worse?
Don't even ask.
I don't have to ask, because regardless of whether or not I ask, it will happen.
Yeah.
Like, don't kid yourself.
I mean, I've seen some pretty terrible light novel titles. None that I can recall off the top of my head, but they're basically revenge porn. So
look, if we could just get the isekai trend of like, I got reincarnated as a refrigerator.
Yeah,
like,
remember when people were complaining about those? Those were the good days.
I would rather have that. I would absolutely watch that if for no reason other than just like the what the fuck factor.
I want the days of like the MMO isekais, like those can come back. That was fine.
Yeah,
like,
okay, well I mean like we've got Log Horizon right now.
I mean that's good. Okay, Log Horizon's good. I've never seen Log Horizon except like 3 episodes that I barely remember, but I know Log Horizon.
It's supposed to be good.
So no one's ever complained about Log Horizon, I'm sure. So except the guy that evaded his taxes. But that's a different thing. Not an anime, but the actual author. That's about all I know about Log Horizon. Which is kind of funny.
Yeah. It's really hilarious. I've managed to avoid almost all the isekai from this season.
Oh, that time I got reincarnated as a slime is apparently good.
Yeah,
I'll let that one slide.
Yeah, that and So I'm a Spider, So What?
Yeah,
have passed for me for now. I've also avoided every Idol show that's airing this season.
They all look like garbage.
Man, there's a surprising amount of them this season.
This is like, coming from someone that likes Idol shows, but they all kind of like, I don't know, Idly Pride might not be too bad, but then I see like 60% on any list, so I'm like,
yeah, it gives me a lot of like edgy Idol stuff, but with no real substance behind it kind of vibes.
See, if I wanted that, I'll just go watch 22 divided by 7.
Yeah, exactly. Then at least you have a wall.
Yeah, at least there's a sentient wall.
But yeah, man, it's like there's that and Gekidol and like Aichu and
yeah.
I'm just like, why? Give me a reason to watch any of you.
Yeah, I don't know any of
Give me a reason and I will.
I guess if you're gonna watch an Idol adjacent show, you might as well just watch Pretty Derby Season 2. Like,
okay, see, but like that's I would like to watch that. That's another one that I'm like,
I mean, it's at least animated nicely and it looks like a decent show. Like nothing amazing, but it looks like a decently made show at least.
Yeah, it's another show that I'm like, I absolutely hate that I haven't seen the first season because I have seen nothing but incredible shit about this.
Yeah.
So, I don't know, man.
Yeah, so, you know, that's just how the season be. Oh yeah, there's also Non Biori Nonstop. I kind of actually forgot that was airing among everything else.
I did too, but again, that's another one of those ones that, like, I haven't even watched the first season, let alone the second.
I haven't watched the second, so I'm like, out there.
I'm not even close to being able to watch it.
Yeah, so it's kind of like, whatever, you know?
It is indeed like whatever.
Because, I don't know, this season just has so many hidden goodies that, like, literally you can scan the list, like, 6 times, and then you'll find another show that you didn't think was airing, but now it's airing.
I know. Like, I didn't even fucking talk about the sequel season of Dr. Stone that's airing this season. Fuck me, it's good. I mean, again, it's literally just more Dr. Stone, but wow, it's good. And I didn't even talk about fucking Kimono Jihen, which is extraordinarily good. But, like, that's the thing. I have to pick and choose here, or else we'll go forever on this.
Yeah, I know. Like, it's just a thing of winter. Winter is objectively the best season in anime. You all can fight me at the back of the Denny's parking lot, but I'm serious. Like, winter is obviously the best season. There is no competition any other season of the year.
Yeah, it fucking kicks ass.
Winter's always good. Fight me.
Yeah. The only thing that comes close is fall slaps shit. Fall's pretty fucking good. Pretty consistently.
Yeah. Spring is objectively the worst season.
It's hard, man. Spring's hard.
Spring's always hard after winter. I think that's actually just because winter is so good, and then spring is always just like leftovers of winter.
It's just, how do you follow it up, man?
You can't follow it up.
Like, how?
You can't.
Exactly.
You can't. But I can guarantee you by the end of this season, we're going to be all screaming. And by the all, I just probably mean the two of us. But, you know.
Whatever. You know.
Yeah.
It'd be like that.
Any anime conversation as a collective will be screaming.
Yes. There we go.
We will also be screaming.
Correct.
So, yeah, I mean, I don't have anything else right now.
I don't either. I think it's okay for us to just go out screaming and just end this podcast like that.
Yeah.
I think that's fine.
I think that is definitely fine.
If y'all don't come out of this podcast like not at least feeling like you're going to be screaming out of something, then I don't know what to tell you.
If you're not watching one of the shows that we talked about, then, like, I don't know.
Do you even like anime?
Do you even like anime? Yeah. Okay. I think we've had enough conversation poison to end the podcast at this point. We lost all our audience.
I think you're right. Okay, we gotta pull the ripcord.
Yeah.
It's time to go.
We're getting hooked, basically. All right. See you guys next time.
Yeah. Thanks for sticking with us, folks.
Yeah.
Have a good season. Watch something. It's so good.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.
Hey, thanks for listening. As always, you can find all our podcasts, articles, videos, etc. at thebacklogers.com. Our intro and outro song is The Bear by Shell in the Pit, who you can find on Spotify and Bandcamp. And we'd love to hear from y'all in the comments on our site, on the podcast platform of your choice, or by going out screaming. It could be cathartic. Who knows? And as always, we're on Twitter at _backloggers, so pull up a log and stop in for a bit.